Good evening. This is Thomas Simpson with Afrosolo, here again with Afrosolo TV. We come every first and third Fridays here at 6:30 on San Francisco Access with a fabulous artist in our community. Afrosolo, we focus on showcasing the African American and people from the African diaspora experience in the arts. So we bring fabulous artists here to talk about what's going on in the arts world. Tonight, we have a very special guest again. His name is Brian Freeman. We'll let you find out who he is by me talking to him and him talking about himself. As you know, one thing that I like to do is give the stage to the artist. So we'll do that right now. So without further ado, welcome, Brian.
Hi, Thomas.
How are you doing?
Nice to be here. Good.
Very good to have you here. First of all, tell me a little bit about how you got started in the arts.
Oh my goodness, the big question. That's a long time ago. I'm from Boston, and I come from a family. My father was a visual artist, and my mom aspired to be an actor and a storyteller. So there's probably a little bit from the family, but I've always had an enormous interest in theater and performed in. I was already writing plays in high school and college and stuff like that. So here in the Bay, I'll get out of the Wayback Machine.
Well,
come up a little.
No, we're going to do some more Wayback.
Oh, okay.
In terms of do you remember the first play you saw?
The first play I saw, it was probably some kind of children's theater. In Boston, there was the Boston Children's Theater Company, and we used to go to that a lot. I mean, it was productions like Hansel and Gretel or Christmas Carol. I remember made a big impression on me.
Do you know what it was about, the Christmas Carol, that made that impression?
It was the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. I thought they were amazing. Mm-hmm. And I still enjoy seeing Christmas Carol. So.
Have you performed in it?
I've never performed in Christmas
wow.
Carol. Yeah.
Another first that must happen.
Oh my God! Next year, call Carrie Perloff.
Now, you said that you performed in some plays in high school, that you went to things in elementary school and junior high school, maybe. Do you remember the first play that you performed in?
I think I've probably blocked it out. What was the first play I performed in? So many were small things. Maybe like sometimes they were original productions written by whoever the drama teacher was that I was working with. I know in high school, maybe the first time I really had like a major role in a play was in a play, The Royal Hunt of the Sun. By Peter Schaefer about the Spanish going into South America. So I think I played an Indian chief or something like that.
So, do you remember when you first took your first acting class or acting lessons that you kind of learned through doing?
I've more learned. I mean, I took my very first acting class. I've really learned. I mean, in high school and college, I took some classes, but really, I've more just kind of learned from either from being in shows, I mean, I studied a lot when I was in different theater companies, and I'd say probably, the longest ones, I was in the San Francisco Mime Troupe for 8 years, and I was really in it. I mean, I worked there and took classes there and toured with the company, so that was quite the immersion in.
Now, when we talk a little bit about the play that you're involved now, I'd like to know what influences
the America
maybe
play,
the America play that your work with the Mime Troupe had on your performance with the American Troupe, if any, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So, but for now, though, from those early experiences on stage, think about the first time that you heard an audience clap or respond to your performance. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do actually. I know exactly what that is. My mom was a model for a while. One of the very few African American models. This is back in the late '50s, early '60s in Boston, and she used to actually work for. She worked both downtown. She worked for Bonwit Teller with a big department store there, but she also do a lot of fashion shows within the black community, the Negro community, of course, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one show where we, the kids came on stage and we like modeled outfits. So we were up on the runway. I think I had sort of like it was a beachwear kind of thing. I remember having a pail and a bucket and a kind of terry cloth thing. But I remember it. I was maybe 4 years old, and I'm sure that was like, oh, whoa, what is this? Of course, when you're a little kid, it's easy to, you stand up and people applaud, and you fall down, people applaud, that kind of thing.
So that's wonderful. Again, you were watching Afrosolo TV. I'm Thomas Simpson, the founder and the artistic director of Afrosolo, and we're here speaking with Brian Freeman, noted area writer, director, teacher, almost everything in the theater world here in the Bay Area, as well as we'll talk a little bit more about his work maybe down in LA and some of the other parts of the country. Back to your story.
Yes.
We were talking a little bit about your experiences in growing up in terms of getting into the arts world.
Yeah.
Who are or were some of the people that you looked up to, or who were some of your idols as you began to start your own career?
In in Boston, when I was young, there was this place run by Alma Lewis, who I think has since passed. I mean, she definitely retired. I'm not sure on that actually. One of the first artist MacArthur Fellows, and she started a place called the National Center for Afro-American Artists, a black arts center. She was a ballet teacher in Boston, and everyone who was black started their ballet training with Miss Lewis. But then she had a vision, and she opened this center for developing, and I think that I took some classes there. I went to so many events there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that was just a major influence. The Douglas Turner Award and the Negro Ensemble Company, sort of one of the early black theater companies in New York was very. I worked there when I was in college. I worked there as a stage manager.
Wow.
When school would let out and there would be enough time for me to go up and work on the last show of the season. So I started there like as a apprentice, and
Sure.
then kind of worked my way up.
And of course, that's one of the spaces that a lot of the noted black theater artists
sure.
came from. Were there any that
Yeah.
you worked with that you could, without trying to name drop?
Oh, I
were
can.
there
I
people
mean,
that you worked with that had an influence on you also, just watching them work?
sure. The director, Clinton Turner Davis, Douglas Turner Ward. Mary Alice, the actress, was there. Charles Brown, Moses Gunn, Esther Roll,
Wow.
Richard Roundtree, all kinds of people were there. Francis Foster, Reno, all kinds of actors.
Great. We're talking a little bit about people who influenced you, and it sounds like maybe your mother influenced you also, and your father.
My mother
who
and
you
father,
said
of course.
were artists too, and a painter as well as fashion is art too. And she was a pioneer. Like you said, there probably weren't very many.
I don't
American
know.
women.
There weren't, but I think anyone trying to do at that point in time, anyone black trying to do something,
A little bit out of the box.
a little out of the box
Yeah.
is a bit of a pioneer.
Okay. In terms of your work on stage,
She does. I mean, she wasn't flying off to France
Sure,
and
sure,
that kind of things. It was all local.
well, she made that possible for Naomi. So she set the stage.
She'd love
for
to hear
her.
that.